Hi everyone, this is Sara. I just wanted to come on real quick and clarify one thing. We say early on in the episode that Renegade Rule is out on May 28th, when in fact, Renegade Rule is out today, right now, June 2nd, anywhere where comics are sold. So what are you waiting for? Put this podcast on in your car and drive to your favorite comic shop, or go ahead and head to whatever comic retailer you like online and put in your order. And now, enjoy an exclusive interview for the Outerhaven and War of Infinite panels with Ben Kahn and Rachel Silverstein, the authors of Renegade Rule.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a special War and Infinite panels. Not only am I joined by my femme fatale psychic Sara, I'm joined by two of the amazing creators of the Renegade Rules trade paperback. This is Ben Kahn and Rachel Silverstein. Say hi, guys.
What's up?
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for having us on.
Appreciate it. And Sara, you can also introduce yourself because now we're in there now. We're esports.
We're here. And we are very, very excited to be talking to both Rachel and Ben today. If you have not heard yet, you should absolutely be picking up their comic, Renegade Rule. It is available wherever comics are bought and sold. And we are going to be talking to them today in a very exclusive interview for the Outerhaven. So, Matt, why don't you tell us a little bit more about our guests?
Sure. So, Ben Kahn has been in the comic industry, I want to say within 5 years ago. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Yep. And they worked on several books. One book particularly that I recommend everyone read is Heavenly Blues. It was nominated for the Ingots Award for Outstanding Series. So if you want to check out their work, I would recommend that's the first one I recommend. And Rachel Silverstein has just smashed through the comic book industry and has a master's degree in elephant paleontology. So she knows about them animals and the law, of course.
Hell yeah.
Awesome.
Wait, would that mean you could be an elephant lawyer? You could defend the law for elephants?
Most definitely.
Ooh.
Cool.
That's totally my specialty.
I mean, that would make a great business card, I'm just saying.
Right?
Yeah. Elephant never forgets, they say.
Be useful. I've got a lot of elephants I want to sue.
See, I'm your gal.
Yeah, the elephant in the room. Got it coming.
Gotta get it. So, I guess to start this off is, how did you two meet personally? Because this is, I would say, the first time I've ever heard of you, collabing in this nature.
It's a pretty great story. Rachel, do you kind of want to...
Oh, yeah. So we kind of have this joke about how we met. It was a couple of years ago at, what was it called? I always forget the name of the convention.
I want to say it was called 5 Points.
Yeah, 5 Points Festival. It's in Brooklyn. And whenever I tell my friends that we met there, they're like, oh, what kind of, is it a Comic-Con? What kind of festival is it? And I'm like, oh no, it's an adult toy show. Everyone's like, wait, what? And it's actually like a designer vinyl toy show.
You wish you would stop calling it the adult toy show.
But it was like a designer toy show.
Yeah, really for high-end vinyl action figures, custom figurines. I thought it would be more of a comic show. Once I realized it wasn't, I turned it into the sangria and food truck show.
Oh, yeah.
But one of the few people there that did take a look at comics was Rachel.
I walked by their booth and Ben said, hey, check out my comic. I said, sure. So I bought the first 2 issues of Heavenly Blues, fell in love with them, and then we slowly became Twitter friends, and now we're BFFs in the real world.
Yeah, friendship. And that's really what Renegade Rule is about. Just good times with friends.
The power of friendship. I dig it. We love to see those collabs.
That sounds interesting. And I guess since you two are, as you mentioned, you read comics and you have other things, what comics did particularly you guys inspire from? Inspire you to be comic book creators?
So I was definitely inspired by a lot of the kind of British invasion comics, especially Sandman. That was definitely the one that really made me want to be a comic artist. But, a lot of those, Preacher, Watchmen, Sandman, early Hellblazer, a lot of that was really influential for me.
Oh, so I guess you would be more of you grew up, I would say, the Vertigo era of comics.
Yeah, so I really didn't start reading comics until I was already in college. So I kind of, in kind of parallel tracks, started diving feet first into the craziness of weekly superhero titles, but I also had this just massive amounts of history to kind of get through and just read all these incredible works that were so new. So really, just even before I knew I wanted to be a writer, just as a reader, it was a lot of that, early Vertigo stuff that really got me super invested in the medium and ultimately really led to inspiring me to want to pursue it.
Ah, and Ben, are you currently reading any of the? I guess the. This is a question because if you're inspired by Vertigo stuff, have you read the new Sandman Overture? I know the series is somewhat complete. Have you give that a look at or
Well, I think there was
the new?
Sandman Overture, which was Neil Gaiman and J.H. Williams III,
Yeah.
which was fantastic. And now I know there's all of the Dreaming line of books, of which I'm really, really enjoying Dreaming The Waking Hours, which written by G. Will Wilson and art by Nick Robles. Is just fantastic. Is one of my current favorites on stands.
Sounds cool. I think you and Sarah be good book buddies because Sarah also has a love of the paranormal and horror type books, I guess, as well, right,
Oh,
Sarah?
oh, for sure, for sure. Well, Rachel, what about you? What comics do you draw inspiration from?
So I kind of love just like cheesy rom-coms.
Nice.
I don't know if there's any, sorry, I said that really loud. I don't know if there's anything in particular that like Heavy Vinyl, the one that came out somewhat recently. I think that was a Boom book. I was like so in love with that one, and it was just like a cute rom-com with like high schoolers, and I thought it was so cute, and I was like, oh, I can totally do that one day. So that kind of inspired me, and
Now you did.
and yeah, on my way.
Fabulous.
Nice.
So I love how you guys talked about friendship, and sort of how you guys came together, became very close friends, and a lot of that friendship and sort of the camaraderie comes across in Renegade Rule. So that's one of the big themes. But what other themes are really important for you guys to draw on in this comic?
I think it was a lot of love of video games and a love of sports movies. I think was a lot
And
of
making it as
influence.
queer as possible.
Yes, and just making it super queer. I mean, definitely one of our goals was to just tell a new adult genre action comedy that was still explosively in your face queer.
I love that.
And I guess another element that was the LGBT element of it. I think what you guys did very well is that you made it very LGBT and positive. As you may know in the comic industry, at least Ben, you know as well, and Rachel, if you may have noticed as well, that a lot of the old school LGBT books were a bit realistic, more negative, and you guys managed to do an LGBT book that's very positive, family support. It has characters being not like trophies or any of that negative stereotypes that happened with LGBT, at least bad representation of LGBT. And I want to compliment you guys on doing that.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we just really didn't feel like writing about discrimination and angst and family drama. We wanted to write again just a really fun like action comedy where everyone was super mad queer. And I think there's all there's a place for all the stories, but tackling discrimination, but God, that's a drag, and we didn't want to have a drag. We just wanted to have a blast, and that meant creating a world where there was none of that icky discrimination to deal with.
Totally fair. And I mean, you guys, Renegade Rule takes place basically in like the esports arena. And not to shit on people who play in esports, but like it tends to be a very exclusive, very, very male, cisgendered, very straight sort of space. And it was really great to see in Renegade Rule that the teams are made up of more than just like oodles and oodles of men. You have women of color, you have genderqueer people, you have people of all shapes and sizes, which I thought was really great. Are either of you guys big esports people, like Overwatch, Team Fortress 2, that kind of thing?
I am definitely a fan of the Overwatch League. I haven't watched it as much recently since Overwatch kind of went a little downhill, but I used to watch it religiously. And actually, with the Excelsior is the Overwatch team for New York, I went to like a legit viewing party in the city, in New York City for...
Oh my god, I think I know the one you're talking about. Not too sure. It was like at this bar or something like that.
Yeah, it was like a sports bar. Really? It was a while ago I went, like a couple years ago, but it was so much fun. Everyone got so into it and they're wearing jerseys and I'm like, yes.
Yeah, that was so cool. Oh man, too bad New York Excelsior at the end kind of sometimes choke. Oh. But it was great. Overwatch is I guess what's your favorite character in Overwatch?
Definitely Sara. Been my favorite since day one.
Nice.
I like Tracer.
Tracer? Oh, yeah. Cool.
I like the teleporting. Like Nightcrawler's my favorite X-Men, so it's like, what if Nightcrawler was like a spunky queer British girl? I'm like, yeah, I definitely want. Yeah, favorite character right there.
Oh man, I'm a lowly support main, so my favorites are anyone who helps. But if I had a choice, it'd be between Lucio, just straight up positivity man, and I love Grandma Anna.
Oh yeah.
I do not play Overwatch. I'm actually the outlier. I don't play very many, especially multiplayer games. But I really like May. She looks really fluffy. That's all I want in this life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm also a hardcore like Pharmacy fan. If anyone's into that ship.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Farah and Mercy.
Yeah.
They're meant to be.
I feel that. And actually, that was another thing that I really loved about the writing in this book is that it's clear that you guys are fans. Like, you guys have been in fandom. You know, so I remember Tanya was talking about bakery AUs, and I was like, oh yes, who has not had that, florist shop, coffee store, just the best. And it really brought the characters both to life, but also made it very relatable. So speaking of that, do you guys have a favorite character that you like to write the most? Which might be like, pick your favorite child, but I'm always interested.
Yeah, no, I love that question, and I always love hearing people's favorites because it always just makes us happy to hear that like each of the girls stood out in their own way, and each one's like someone's favorite for their own reasons. Personally, I always have a lot of fun with Jessie. I always have a lot of love for the person that takes it the least competitively and is mostly just looking for ways to mess around and have as much fun as possible.
For me, it's definitely Tanya. I see like so much of myself in Tanya where I'm definitely into a whole bunch of fandoms. And if I was an artist, I would totally draw fan art. And who doesn't like a good fanfic every now and then? So definitely her.
I mean, I'm not saying that I get emails from AO3 when my fics update, but
oh yeah, I got one today for a Korosami fic that I started reading in 2016, and I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Wow,
that's commitment,
right?
Yeah, that is. Oh, I love when that happens when an old fic revives. But I also very much identify with Tanya both in like the intense like fandom love and also like am cry die alone. I feel you, babe. It's okay. We got each other.
Oh man, that's pretty cool.
We definitely hope that at least through one of the girls, like everyone would kind of see a little bit of themselves, just go like, oh, yep, that's how I play video games. Or at least like, God, I have a friend, like I definitely know people that have played like this, that have either been the angry healer, been the one taking it way more seriously, or been the one taking it way less seriously.
Absolutely. And it's cool that Sasha, like being the healer, is not like, you tend to like think of healers as like team moms, and Sasha is very much not the team mom.
Yeah.
No.
Quite the opposite.
I would say Sasha's probably the least maternal team member.
Yes, absolutely.
She takes after her mother.
I love that. I also love that you get to see like the parents real quick. And props to the artist who could not be here with us today. But just the way that like the characters, like the parents are sort of dressed and their posture and all that, like just gives you such a great idea of like whose parent is. I mean, we meet Amanda's mom, but whose parent is whose, and just how like into it or not into it they are, which is great.
Yeah.
Sam is just so incredible about just putting so much personality and life and just inner depth on just the character's face and body language. Like, I just love Sam's art. She just did such a phenomenal job on every page of this book.
Absolutely. Were there any challenges that you guys ended up facing that you didn't expect when you were putting this together?
I don't think it was so much an unexpected challenge. I think we knew it was going to be something go into it, but I definitely think a unique challenge of Renegade Rule compared to other books I've done, at least, was we kind of had to come up with this game. We had to figure out the rules of the game, the layout, like kind of this lore within a lore. So we knew like we kind of had to build out this separate, like this hard and fast rules of the game in order to then map that onto the story. So I think that was just a challenge that making our own video game in the story presented.
I guess one thing is like, the one thing I could say about the rules in the Renegade Rule of the game is it's pretty team deathmatch style. So it's not, I would say, like, capture the objective, kill everybody, get all the resources, and run over someone else, like playing like Apex Legend which I don't recommend people play Apex Legend.
It was definitely inspired. At least like the rules of the game was definitely inspired by Overwatch and Team Fortress 2. And yeah, your team-based shooters were definitely our inspiration, especially with Overwatch, with which just to kind of took Team Fortress 2's like, different body types. So it's like layouts, weapons, roles, and just pushed it to 11.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so it was like the rules really did make it was like how to put it's like the little tangent here. A good book, much like a good video game, has great, easy, simple design to understand because you don't want to lose the reader, which is something else I do. Renegade Rule does really well. It it engages the reader and keeps it pacing well. So it's not like a situation where I'm pausing. Wait, is that the rules? No, it's fine. You kill the person, you get the point. The endo,
Yeah, that was definitely like we needed to keep in mind that we needed to create something where people would easily understand the stakes of the matches. They wouldn't find themselves confused by what was happening or why people were taking certain actions. So it was just like a balancing act and just trying to make sure it was as accessible for people to follow within the game, to follow within the narrative. I mean, Rachel, anything you want to talk about in terms of kind of developing the game within the comic?
Mm-hmm.
Not really. I feel like you hit everything.
Cool.
Okay. That works too. That works too.
So here's another gaming question. So I guess you guys are futuristic. I guess the game is based in like VR stuff. Have you guys ever done VR gaming or anything like that?
I haven't.
I mean, I've done like tech demos and stuff, and it's
because there's
and it's a ton of fun. I love it. It's very immersive. This level of dot hack sign Sword Art Online level in the game VR. I mean, it wasn't really us making any commentary on where we think games are going. This was, boy, wouldn't it be more interesting if they were actually holding weapons and dodging lasers instead of just a whole bunch of panels of them holding controllers?
Yeah. I mean, I believe in the story, a little spoiler, I forgot the host, the man in the pink suit, lovely suit, was like, if you die in a game, you die in real life. I was like, come on, please don't do that to me. Luckily, it was a joke.
We wanted to just we wanted to just nip that trope right in the bud. I mean, it is very much them in a VR game, but it's for your anime fans out there, it's much closer in spirit to Haikyuu than it is Sword Art Online.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was definitely picking up on the sports anime vibes a little bit, and I was just like, ooh, I feel that. I feel it good.
I mean, definitely. I mean, sports anime, sports movies. I mean, there's a lot of, Haikyuu, iShield 21 in terms of that. That's kind of my sports manga influences. And then a lot of sports movies, Mighty Ducks, Bad Luck, Bad News Bears, Bring It On. That timeless classic, the Air Bud cinematic franchise.
The Air Bud cinematic universe. There are many entries in there.
The ABCU.
The ABCU.
Oh God.
Perfect. Someone make that a t-shirt. So I'm actually kind of curious. Obviously, you told us how you guys met, but what sort of inspired you guys to sit down and say, I want to write this story, I want to put this together? Like, what was that process like for you?
I really wanted to co-write something with Rachel. I thought it would be a lot of fun, I think, and also I thought like Rachel is awesome and so talented and so funny, and comics will be such a better place if her voice is part of this community and this creative output of this medium. So I set aside and I thought, well, what does Rachel like? What might she want to write like together with me? I'm like, Rachel likes Overwatch and girls. How can I combine these two things together?
That's pretty accurate.
So what was like the spark then? Like how did we get, Amanda, Jesse, Tanya, and Sasha? Like where did they come from creatively?
I think Ben had asked me, "Oh, do you want to work on a book with me?" I said, "Hell yeah." And Ben pitched the idea and said, "Would you want to do like all-girl virtual reality gaming squad?" I was like, that sounds amazing, and I'm in. And the girls just kind of came with, we tried to think of what their classes would be first, and we were like, okay, what would be like the stereotypical class, and then like let's tweak it a little. So we had like the healer, but we wanted the angry healer, which would reflect like real like angry healers in real life. And so we kind of just went through and wanted to hit all that stuff.
I was definitely thinking kind of in terms of, like kind of basic character foursomes, like the differing personalities, and like Rachel said, kind of taking our character classes and mapping out where their personalities were and how they contradicted each other. So that's where we get our distracted oddball sniper and our sugar cream puff heavy weapons expert. and yeah, just trying to create a little bit in that, just kind of looking at that character dynamics that worked before a little bit, Scooby-Doo, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Sex and the City, really just instances of stories driven by a core foursome of friends, and just looked at kind of how those personalities usually developed and what kind of dynamics and differing traits they tended to have, which I know makes it seem a little clinical and dispassionate, but sometimes it's just in terms of trying to put the right traits on these characters, and then they really come to life in surprising ways when you're in the scripting phase.
Interesting.
Absolutely.
I guess the question I definitely want to ask is, when you guys were working on the book and you put it all together, did you guys have like the nervous butterfly, oh snap, we wrote this, what are we gonna do now? Did you guys like freak out, like any element of the story made you go, oh no, what are we doing here? Like, you ever had we'll call it, what was it, like it's not like writer's block, but you know what I mean, like you're overly critiquing your work? Has that happened when you were creating the story, or you guys were just like confident this is going to be exactly what I pitched it?
I'm pretty sure we came at this project with Rachel, correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel a frankly irresponsible level of confidence.
Yeah, definitely. We were like, we got this. And I remember when we finished, we were like, I'd read this book.
Cool.
Yeah, I feel like we kind of approached like, we wasted a lot of time patting ourselves on the back, I think. I think there was just a lot of jokes being like, yeah, fucking nailed it. Good for us.
Yeah, because I've always heard stories about writers, or in general in the industry, who would be like, I read my book, I wrote it, and then the moment I look over, I'm like, oh my god, this is the worst thing I've ever read. What's going on in my life? Oh my god, this is never going to say. And it's like, book of all time. Like, I think you may notice as well, Ben, Alan Moore hates everything he writes.
God, that's what I hear. And I hear like you're supposed to hate your own work. I feel so egotistical. I go and look back at my old work, and I'm like, you know what? I knew what all the twist was, and I saw all the punchlines coming. But you know what? Fucking solid. Good work. I'm digging it.
It's that sports anime, like, gotta believe in yourself vibe. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Yeah. Believe in yourself.
I mean, if my goal is to make the comics I would like to read, is it then that surprising that I sort of like to read them?
Yes. If one tree falls in the forest, sort of philosophical questions.
I mean, I feel like we're supposed to be like, I hate my old stuff. I'm like, I don't hate my old stuff. I think it kicks ass.
That's good. That's good. And honestly, it's great that it's great to have that confidence in stuff you're in, because it's like, I know people should be humble, but you got your book out there, you did it. That's the first step. And again, believing in yourself is, again, a lesson everybody should have. Just you're doing work, whatever you're doing, believe in it, because if you don't believe in it, who else is going to believe in it? Again, all right, that's going to be philosophy out of us.
Yeah, we believe in you, listener. You can do it too.
You can do it too.
Was there anything that you guys wrote or were thinking about writing that didn't end up making it into the final story that like you're willing to tell us or want to talk about?
I mean, there's a little bit. There was a version of this that got pitched that was a slightly longer page count. So there was a few things that were a little more stretched out in our original plan, but nothing that had to be like full on cut or taken out. And then, there was really, I think we were given a pretty wide berth to really communicate the tone, tell the kind of jokes, give these characters the voices we wanted to do. I think the only line that we got any pushback was one where we got some notes where like, yeah, legally we don't know if you can actually say this. We don't have the rights to that. But aside from that, we were really, I think, Rachel, correct me, like feel free to jump in if I'm wrong, but like I feel like we were really allowed to really kind of tell this very new adult genre, like age appropriate, like age centered action comedy that we kind of really set out to make.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, we even got lucky with some of our jokes where we would write them and we'd be like, we can't actually say this, can we? And then like it would make it through and we're like, fuck yeah.
No, Dark Horse was such a wonderful partner for this book. Like they've been just so amazing in bringing it to life and getting it out there, and they've just been so supportive. Like I feel like you look at just Queer Girl esports, there could be a lot of places where they would really try to just age it down to teenagers and make it a YA. And the fact that they just embraced our mission of making this a new adult focused book was just, it just gave us the confidence that this was a book and a story worth pursuing.
I mean, I have one obvious burning question that I think all the listeners want to know. And it's been burning in my heart since I, reread this for like the 8th or 9th time. Don't at me.
Don't at me.
Will Tanya and Sasha reveal their latent feelings to each other?
Oh, God.
I guess you'll just have to buy enough copies of Volume 1 that we can continue the story in Volume 2.
Oh, interesting.
All right. Okay. Well, I'm going to go out and buy a box.
Just buy the...
Girl needs to know.
No.
I need to know, too.
I need to...
Oh man! Man! It's definitely something to explore. I mean, we've got Amanda and Gabby's budding relationship, Jessie and her partner, who are just adorable. I mean, I'm gonna just fangirl out just for a hot second. I promise. I'll be a professional after this. Jessie and her partner are just adorable and so cute, and like, I just love the like best friends, but also we bone angle. And obviously, I am here for Tanya's bad flirting and Sasha's expert level flirting.
Oh man, I think what I love about Jessie is like at least the jokes of Jessie towards the end is like we don't even know the boyfriend's name, and I believe his name is Bifurious, so I've just been calling him Bifurious.
That's a great name. It's a great name. Stick with that. We love that.
Bifurious. It's official name. I mean, I also like that her character ranking is croissant.
Yeah, yes. Croissant. Like, what is that like? Which, by the way, as a French descent person, a croissant is a perfect ranking to be in life.
It's a top tier ranking there.
Yeah, top tier. The greatest creme de la bread.
That's honestly one of my favorite. That's one of my favorite jokes. The rank to number croissant line.
Yep.
Cool. And I guess
the doppelganger gag is also really funny, actually.
Oh yeah.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I wanna extend off with a very big question that I'd like to ask both of you. What do you hope the readers take away from Renegade Rules? And I mean readers of all types, regardless if they're LGBT or not. What do you hope they take away from reading a book as positive as this?
Rachel,
go play video games with your friends.
Okay.
Yeah, I hope it reminds them of all the great times they've had playing games and having time with their friends. And just keeps that just a real celebration of friendship and video games and all the ways they go hand in hand in our modern existence.
Very cool. Guys, where can people find you online?
I am on Twitter at @flirtymango, and I actually just made a website for myself. It's theflirtymango.com.
You can find me on Twitter at BenTheCon. You can also find me at benconcomics.com, where you can find links to all of my past works like Heavenly Blues and Griffin, Galaxy's Most Wanted. And that is in print and digital. And in addition to Renegade Rule, I'm also writing the the comic book tie-in to Ubisoft's Immortals Phoenix Rising with art by Giorgio Brooks, and that'll be out in stores this September.
Dang, that's real fancy. And yes, listeners, don't forget that you can buy Renegade Rule wherever you buy your comics, that be online, your local comic book shop, and if they don't have it, you can always request it. It's out from Dark Horse, and it's out on May 26th. It is a blast and a half. Please be sure to read our review on the Outerhaven Net, which was written by yours truly, and may or may not be a gushing love letter to the comic, but you'll just have to find out by reading it. Any last thoughts, Matt?
Final thoughts. Protect your girl. That's all I gotta say. From Nasha, protect your girl.
All hail tanks. All hail tanks.
All hail tanks. Yeah, protect your girl. That's everything I can say about it. But yeah, please give the book a read. Get it from, as Sarah pointed out, from anywhere now. It should be out on May 26th, I believe.
June 2nd.
June 2nd.
Oh, June 2nd. Oh, there's even more time. Well, that means you have to call now to your comic book
call
store
now. Oh, wow.
And tell them to put it on hold for you. And if they refuse to do so, you give me their number. You give me.
We will all fight them.
We will all fight them. Absolutely. Ben, Rachel, thank you so much for taking your time to talk to us about this amazing comic.
Thank you so much for having us. This was so much fun.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep.
And of course, be sure to check this episode of War of Infinite Panels along with our other War of Infinite panels on the outerhaven.net. We also have a YouTube, Facebook, Twitter channels as well at the Outerhaven. And we are here always for your geeky news, views, and reviews on comics, TV, film, video games, and so much more.
All right. That's everyone signing out. Thank you guys for joining us on the podcast, and we'll be seeing you next time.
Bye.
Bye.